Dear friends, the Menachem, Vice President from the Jewish Congress, we talked a few minutes, told him that I was in Birkenau, only in Auschwitz. I was only one day, but Birkenau, I was the entire time till they started evacuating the camp. But that's part what I'm about to speak. Nachum, thank you so much for inviting me here today. Today I'm going to just talk about two things. First, I'm going to talk about it was never revealed in any book. I had a lot of books with it. It was nothing was written about it. One part I'm going to be talking about is before they built the crematorium, what took place. I was there. So that's one part. The second part I'm going to be talking is when they start building the crematoriums, but this is the second part. But first, I bear witness, and I'm going to be speaking from my heart, but nothing but the truth, what took place there. So now let me begin with what took place, what brought me to Auschwitz. I grew up in a town in the city of Radom, 103 kilometers from Warsaw. The city, when I left, the population had 90,000 people. Amongst them was 38,000 Jewish people. 35,000 Jews perished in Treblinka. 3,000 people survived. And I am among the 3,000 who survived the city of Radom. My father was a butcher at a kosher market, also selling kosher, and also the Christian population, they were buying meat, the non-kosher meat. But not the hindquarters was non-kosher because the forequarters was kosher. So that was part. And then, of course, in 1942, they rounded up all the butchers. My father was amongst them, and he escaped. When he escaped, he knew that they were going to come looking for him. And I was hiding. I didn't know about my brothers and sisters. Where my mother, my father did not know. My family consists of 10 children, 6 brothers, and 4 sisters. So my father, when they arrested him and he escaped, so we knew they were going to come after and looking for him. So what happened, my older sister, she had a 3-year-old girl. Somehow she walked into the house, and sure enough, the police were there, and they took her in custody. She was a few days in custody. And my mother negotiated with the police because the month of May, it was very hot. Of course, there was no air conditioning. Here we got air conditioning, but there it was not. And it was really very hard for the child, a 3-year-old, to be in custody in police. So they told, the police told if you have any member of the family, if they could turn himself in, so we'll release my sister with the baby. I was in a place where I don't think even the Germans could have found me. And I don't know, miraculously, my mother found me, and she told me the story, what took place. Of course, I didn't know. And she told me if I turn myself in, they will let your sister with the baby go. Without hesitation, I says, yes, I'm going to turn myself in. Sure enough, they released my sister with the baby. That's the last time I saw my family. The only thing, the ghetto, there were two ghettos in the city. There was a small ghetto and then big ghetto where we lived. That was the ghetto. My mother, my aunt, they walked from the ghetto till they escorted us to the SS. My mother, my granddad, all she did is give me kisses, and that's the last time I saw my family. We arrived at the SS, of course, it was a barrack, and they told us, you're going to sleep here on the ground, and anyone will raise their head will be shot. In the morning, we woke up, everybody was out. They lined everybody up, and then I had a friend of mine, a young boy, the same age, but he was shorter. I was good shape. So my friend's son, they told him to go. And I was the youngest. I was only 17 years old. They escorted us to the train station. They put the ropes on our hands, but not in the front, but in the back. We had a hand behind the ropes. We had no idea where we're going. And we arrived in Auschwitz. We knew about Auschwitz only because some Polish people that lived in the same street, and they were against the Germans, and they sent them to Auschwitz. Matter of fact, one of our neighbors' son, and a few weeks later, they sent clothes back that he died, but they killed people. So when we arrived, the next day they processed us and put tattoos number. Matter of fact, they took a picture. They just, not everyone, they took pictures. But it happened, they grabbed me, I had no idea, they just took a picture. And they put the number on this side. And my hand swelled up, they had a little, just pushed in. The next day, they walked us to Birkenau. Any one of you people here, if you went to Birkenau, if you walk in on the left side, there's a few brick buildings. And that was our first stop. We were there just a very short time. They were start building barracks. And we went to this barrack. I don't know anyone, whenever you went to Auschwitz or this history, the German, he was a criminal, he was the worst of the worst. Albert Himmler, if anyone knows about, he probably killed thousands of people. So that part here. So anyway, we worked, we went to work. We worked in a place. It was like a cave. The work didn't mean anything, just using the shovel. I was always in the back. I didn't want to go right in the front, watching what's taking place. In working, I'm not stopping. But anyone stopped, they just pick people, hitting them in the back. The last shot they do, they hit him in the neck, They broke their necks, put them on the ground, put a stake on them, and just choked them to death. That was going on. We were carrying almost every time 20 people, 25 people, dead people, back to the barrack. It was so difficult, even if I want to work in a different place, only because in the morning we woke up 4:30, everybody lined it up, and sometimes if anyone was missing, we could wait and stay, even if it was raining, no matter what, we still waited till everybody was there. The coppers and the helpers, they took so many people in this cave to work. But I was there maybe 2-3 times. That was going on with that. Of course, that later I was transferred working and start building barracks. So I worked just the foundation to learn how to mix the cement and all that with that. But not just that, when we went to work, we were not sure whether we come out alive. Every minute and every day, you were fighting to be alive. That's one part. And even we went back to the barrack. At night, they took down people to kill people on the bunk. 5 people were sleeping in a bunk for a high. So it was really a killing, nothing to kill people. That's all it was doing. That was the primitive way before they built the crematorium. And then, of course, as time went by, they built the Sauna. The Sauna is a place where people were selected to go to work, so they have to go through the Sauna. I could have worked there the first day because I was there way before a lot of people. I was a little bit concerned because they started building the crematoriums. If anyone was in Birkenau, now the Sauna is still there. And it was so close, the 2 crematoriums were right in front of us. So I was concerned, they're so close, but it was so difficult to go to places where you didn't know whether you're going to come back alive. So I figured, what is the difference? So I started working in the Sauna. In the Sauna, I worked 2 weeks a day and 2 weeks at night. So what took place with the Cyclone B gas, this was a disinfection. The people, they were lice, and this is what they were using for. But they seen it start working. There were Russian prisoners. There were about 11,000 prisoners. So there was a house, they called it White House, and they killed almost all of them. Put them in and they seen it worked. 15, 20 minutes, it was over. And then, of course, they brought people in, Jewish people. At night, I turned down the light. The Sauna I worked in the reception where people were selected or prisoners from camp. And I worked right in the front. My job was to pick up the clothes, checking, especially from the Hungarian in 44, they brought in probably 500,000. I probably saw 300,000 Jewish people perish right in front of my eyes. The German who was in charge of the Sauna, he was our boss. That was already, the crematoriums were already built. But going back, the house, what we're guessing, I took that one time, well, so many times, when I walked at night, there was only one German soldier behind the sun, and looked up, there were women and children. We saw, I was seeing, there was only, when they were gathering people, they couldn't accommodate all the people. First, they burned them, and I could see they were throwing bodies in the fire. Women and children, the Germans, they were screaming. They saw death in front of them. How in the world, how cruel is this? Dogs, they had children in their hands. The dogs ripped out the children from the mother's arm, seeing this all. And it was so, for me, so difficult. I know even today there's a lot of deniers. They deny this thing. It never happened. But for me, seeing this all day, every day, what took place, it's so difficult, so hard to understand. For me, being there so long, how in the world, the most advanced country in Europe, 9 people in the German government, they decided who's going to live and who's going to die. That was, it's even impossible to understand seeing this. And I was thinking to myself, people denying this, for me being there, seeing this, it's so difficult to understand that they denying this. For me being there, seeing this, it's so difficult to see the brutality what took place to our people. Anyway, with this part here, the crematoriums were built. In the meantime, they were digging graves right next to that house. They couldn't accommodate to dispose all the bodies. They were burying all these bodies. Thousands of people have worked there, maybe 1 or 2 days even before. And when the crematoriums were finished, I remember the first day, Himmler came to visit to see the process, what took place. The people were already in the gas chambers, and he came late. Finally, he arrived, seeing this, the process, what they were doing. This was going on every day, nonstop. The SS man who was our boss in the Sauna, he was driving a van with a Red Cross. There were 2 crematoriums right in front of us. He drove the van right next to the crematorium. There were little windows. He put a stool. As soon as he gave him the signal, the people already packed in, the doors were closed. He put a stool, stepped on the stool up, put a mask on, and opened up Zyklon B gas and poured in the windows. I was in that building in the Sauna. The minute he drove away, screams, being about 180 feet back, hearing the screams. 20 minutes, it was over. They opened up the doors, the bodies fell out. This is what I seen every day. The German, he was just killed 1,200 people. He drove up, he came up in the building to us. He never heard us or never, he just like nothing happened. This was going on, especially the Hungarian, when they came. There was one incident, I was standing in the door. A Hungarian man stayed next to me. Of course, I don't speak Hungarian. His wife was in the gas chamber. She pulled out the arm. I could see the arm. And she spoke to this man. That was his wife was there. They had no knowledge what was there, because they had to go through. On the other side, they cut their hair, they took showers, and they gave him prison clothes. It's so difficult for me, especially in the beginning. I had sleepless nights. I remember many, many times. I woke up, I thought I was in the gas chamber. And my wife always grabbed me and said, "What's happening?" And I had those dreams constantly, especially also right after liberation. We talked to survivors, of course. There was quite thousands of them. We used to talk. There's never, ever things that we did not talk about what took place. There was, years later, even there were some survivors when they heard we talked about the past, what took place. And they couldn't, they saw that we talked about it, and they said, "I'm sorry, but that's enough for it. It's enough." They had a very difficult time to relive the tragedy, what happened with that. For me, it was different. It was different about, I would say, at least 25, 30 years ago. My partner, his granddaughter, she took up the Holocaust school classes. I never spoke about in front of people or anyone, you know. I was, not that I was shy, but I really didn't feel that was so important or necessary. And when I came to the office, he says to me, "My granddaughter would like to invite you, West Covina in Los Angeles. She's taken up. Would you go to this event and talk about your experience?" I had a very difficult time. It took me about 2 or 3 weeks. In the beginning, I couldn't say yes, I couldn't say no, but it's so difficult. But after that, we went, and it was the most incredible experience I had. The place was overwhelming. Parents came, and some reporters, and from then on, after that, my own grandkids invited me to speak about it, which I did, and also different places. And as now I am speaking every month in the museum, the Holocaust Museum. Remember in middle school in Santa Monica, my picture from Auschwitz is in Yad Vashem. So a young boy got questions. He came over to me, he said, "Mr. Hakman, I saw your picture in Yad Vashem." A young boy. So that's what's going on, and I'm continuing doing this. And for me, it is really a relief to talk about it, continue. to students. They ask questions, all that. It's something, it means so much to me that I could tell them the story. They have interest to do that. Not just that, but just the last time they were there, just the last time before, it was overwhelming. It was probably more people, what you hear, probably more. It was in the morning, I walk in the morning an hour. So I was walking west, a woman was walking east, and she grabbed me. I didn't know she was attacking me. I had no idea what was going on. And then she says to me, I saw you yesterday in the Holocaust Museum. You were really amazing. So all that what I'm doing now, and I just want to thank you president, you vice president who invited me. This is something means so much to me that I could tell all you people here what took place. There's so many things. Why do I have so much information? The Sonderkommando, they came to take showers. The Sonderkommando, I'm sure that you know the Sonderkommando, what they were doing. They were disposing the gas, people that were burning and all that. They told me so many stories what took place. They told me a story. There was an assessment. His name was Schillinger. He was the worst of the worst. When he came to the camp, walking through, everybody was hiding because anyone was in front of him, either hit him or even shot people. He had a pleasure to go to the crematoriums with the gathering. One time he came, and there were a transport, young women. There was one particular, she was so good looking. That's the way the Sonderkommando described to me what took place. And he picked on one why they were undressing themselves before they were going into the gas chamber. He picked on her, grabbed her, tried to choke her one time. So while she was ready, she only had the underwear. And he came, approached her again. She took off her brassiere and threw him right in his face. When this happened, he grabbed her, and she managed. She had a revolver, but the poise was open. She grabbed the revolver, took it out, and shot him, killed him instantly. He was killed. She managed to kill, not to kill, but wounded a few others. Of course, they were all killed, but those things was not even in any books that I seen these incidences, what happened. And here, I'm here now revealing things, which you can take all the books you want. I have quite a few. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm reading books from Auschwitz, from Birkenau, from Treblinka. I was there a few times. And Treblinka was even worse than Auschwitz. That was really... I was in Florida, I met a guy who he escaped from Treblinka. He told me the brutality before they killed these people. They went, soon the trains came in Treblinka. They opened the doors. The Germans with the dogs, they were screaming, "Raus, raus," terrifying these people. When they walked out, they were shaking, they were so scared. In walking, when they were undressed, they walked to the gas chambers. They were lined up, the Germans, and there were a lot of Ukrainians as well. They were not better than than the Germans. And they were hitting them, killing them, hitting them, and they split their heads working with that. And then, of course, they were killed. In Treblinka, they killed 900,000 people within 13 months. That was the worst of the worst. We know Auschwitz, we know all that. Treblinka was the worst. And one time we worked in different places before going back. We were working in a field just digging, and a German soldier, I did not see him, he came from the back, he hit me, my head, split my head right open. I fell on the ground, sparks flied on my eyes, and I was still on the ground, and everything was turning. So there was a pan of water, I crawled in, I put my head in. And luckily, I did not have an infection. Survived that too. Of course, going back, I'm going to talk about the evacuation that took place. In 45, January the 18th, they start evacuating the camp. We did not have any idea what was going on, where the war is still going on, but something was going on with that. We walked from Birkenau to Gleiwitz. I don't know if you probably heard, Gleiwitz was only like 70 miles. From there, we continue walking, and obviously it's in cold, snow, and they took away my shoes. I had shoes, but I had difficulties. I'm still having problems sometimes with that. But when we walked in anyone, of course, we didn't have any, there was no food, it was snowing, and we just grabbed snow on the ground, just put it in the mouth. We walked 5 in the good. There was one guy, of course, a young guy, and he wants to give up. And they were shooting every few minutes. They were killing people. There was no hope. There was going and not stopping. We stopped at night. A few weeks we were walking, and then they put us on a train, an open cattle train. We were, a few days, we were going nowhere, we didn't know where. The train stopped near a field, and there was no German soldiers, there was no one there. Some people escaped. Where do you escape? You know, I was so determined that I want to survive. In escape, and you see that in front of you. You go to Germany, they see you close, they turn you in, and it's over. But I remained there. And sure enough, the same days, the Germans, they came back, we start walking. So in the front, the people, they said, oh, they killed yesterday, in the wooden area to go through, they killed people yesterday. So everyone, they all start running all over the place. And I saw them start shooting with machine guns, and I was on the ground. And on the top of, dead people fell on the back of me. And anyway, after the shooting, everybody stood up again, and we continued walking. And after that, after a few weeks, they put us in a farm where we were digging trenches. The Russian army was there, the Germans, there was So that was going on with that. And one day, we woke up. Nobody, the Germans, there was no Germans, nobody. So we walked, there were three of us, Jewish, all three of us, we walked in a field, and we didn't know where we were going. It was like a farm place, and a highway. So anyway, we walked in a tavern. I did not want to eat, I was hungry, but my uncle was in the Polish army, and he didn't eat for 3 days. So he walked in to a farmer, and the farmer gave him so much food, and he almost died. And I was so young, I remember that he almost died, and I promised myself that I will not eat, just go very slow. So anyway, just a drink. All three of us went, and we walked out from the tavern. An assessment with a machine gun saw us, told us to wait outside. We should wait outside, and we knew what he was going to do to us. So we were running in a field right next to the tavern as much as we possibly could, way maybe 2-3 miles. Hiding, you see, when tigers that try to attack, they were hiding. That's what we were doing. The same day, they were bombing the highway. We saw something was going on. So we started crawling closer to the highway. Sure enough, a soldier with a bicycle, a Russian soldier. He was from Minsk, and he happened to be Jewish. So he says, we just liberated that place. So anyway, that was the liberation with that. But anyway, I'm going to end with this because there's so much. And I know in the beginning, Menachem told me I could only speak 15 minutes. What can you say in 15 minutes? Because the Russian general is supposed to be here. So I could understand. But now they gave me liberty that I can speak a little longer. Anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate the kindness you see on your face, that you really paid attention. You're looking at me, and I'm looking at you, and I see the kindness, the friendship. For this, I want to really thank you so much.
So we'll have to